So caravans are the talk of Vera right now. Everyone is stating their opinion, saying this works, that doesn't work. This should change, that shouldn't change, and so on and so forth. As you know, we're going through the dev discussions, so I wanted to apply the next two topics specifically to the system of caravans, that being solo gameplay and group gameplay. The question pertaining to solo gameplay is, how do you feel about solo progression? How far should a player be able to progress as a lone wolf? Alright, let's break this down and then see how this holds up against the caravan system. I genuinely think it all depends on the type of content being done as a solo player. It'd almost be insane to require every single system content type, you name it, require some type of grouping, because at some point it'll die out because the upkeep of that is too much. When I play Embers Adrift, I understand that for the most part, I'm not going to be able to do a ton by myself. I'll be able to kill a few trash mobs and do some gathering. There's not a ton of content to do for solo players, and for the content that is available, you must be in a group because that is what's required of the game. You're not going into a dungeon alone and taking it head on. And if you are, congrats, you're a top percentile player, but your average player isn't doing that. I think solo progression is fine, but it does need to have a hard cutoff in my opinion, and that brings up the next question. How far should a player be able to progress as a lone wolf? If solo players are allowed to do all of the types of content, then they will. No one will be reaching out to other players when they can do the content themselves, which ultimately hurts the socialization of your game. If your game has a clear end goal of what they want the end game or more challenging content to be like, they have to stick to it and give solo players that cutoff. Now let's apply what we just talked about to the caravan system that we just saw a few days ago. That's it, it's not working. Let's wrap it up. Let's get up out of here. It's literally not working. And I think it's part of that cutoff that we just spoke about for solo players. Anyone trying to accomplish anything worthwhile in Ashes of Creation needs to be part of a community, guild, whatever, or you're going to struggle. It's pretty simple. I'm not saying solo players shouldn't be able to do caravans. I'm asking if you think you'll survive. I genuinely like to see a solo attempt in a populated world with a solid caravan build. We saw how quick the team of Rangers took out the first player when Steven and the others saw the caravan. If you're alone, what do you think is going to happen to you? Steven has stated that different abilities and builds come into play when constructing your caravan, but how much is that going to help in this situation? Steven has stated that Ashes of Creation is the next big MMO and all that big talk, and I'm rocking with you, Steven, for real. But if that's true, these solo caravaners, caravanees aren't gonna be getting too far due to the game being popular. I'd argue that any highly skilled player is part of a guild or group consisting of other highly skilled players. Most people that complain about solo play, in my experience, are more so the casuals, but this isn't all of the time. This means those solo casual players probably won't be as good, or rather would be your average player. I'm sure there are exceptions to the rule. Say you're playing on a server late at night or other low population times, and maybe that's when you want to go about your business. But dog, that's no way to live. I think there's this unspoken rule in World of Warcraft, at least in my personal experience, where if you're running around with a group of Alliance or Horde and you come across solo players of the other faction, you're going to attack them. It's just how it goes. Or if there's two solo players of differing factions, you both try to gauge if either of you are gonna attack each other first or at all, and more often than not, you get attacked. So you might as well be the first to attack every time. What I'm saying is, both of these groups are going to exist in Ashes of Creation, and one of them is going to be the winner usually. unless you're going up against like the John Wick of Vera or something. The next question is, how do you feel about grouping in MMOs? What's your ideal group experience? Again, I think it's going to depend on the game. There are many MMOs today that don't necessarily require groupings, but for my personal taste and the type of MMO that I want to play, I'd like for there to be required grouping content. If I'm not grouping in some, if not most of the content, then I'm not really playing an MMO. I'm just playing a game with other people running around. I know a lot of the changes current day MMOs have made are quality of life, like the Dungeon Finder, but I really do enjoy sitting around looking for people to play with. Is it annoying that people leave if they feel like it's taking too long? And is it annoying to be waiting for 30 minutes looking for a tank or a priest? Of course, but I usually always end up talking to these people to the point where we add each other and eventually play together again because of the shared experience. When I used the Dungeon Finder, I didn't have that experience because no one feels the need to say anything. This actually plays into my ideal group, right? Because going out into the world, you actually have to build friendships, community. We've heard it before, right? This helps the health of the game. So now when you apply this to the caravan system, it's perfect. If you consider building up your node through in-game relationships or some type of community, I'd argue that having X amount of people online at any given time to be ready to attack other caravans is just going to be more fun. I'm going to be honest with you. I think this is something that can also be pugged. Think about it. If you can gather 15 other people in your area, that chat for a caravan run, it actually might be beneficial for everyone involved. This doesn't just have to be for guilds and larger friend groups. I just think about the other possibilities in these group caravan situations. Say you and a group of 20 overtake a caravan and are now heading to a node that's about 30 minutes away to turn in those stolen commodities for triple the price, but you're a mayor or a king/queen, so you have a royal mount. What if there are nodes that are further away that yield an even bigger return, so they decide to fly there if they can make that trip, since even flying has its limits? That's just one scenario as well. I'm sure there are many other methods and strategies that players will come up with. I know that the caravan system is a group system, but I still imagine we're going to get players that are upset that they can't successfully pull off a run alone. It's almost insane to even want to try, but it's going to happen. Hey man, I'm still super gassed about the caravan stream, and I'm looking forward to being able to test it out. Speaking of testing, Ashes of Creation is holding another giveaway to win an Alpha 2 key. It's a Valentine's Day giveaway, so you gotta go on the forums. You have to write down a cute, heartwarming, and funny message. I actually participated in the event myself. Here are my lines. Love was a foreign language to me that I didn't understand, but now, quiero su tu hombre means I want to be your man. Sometimes I look at the sky and remember all of my pain, thinking what we went through for us to build a name. And we've done a lot thus far. Our love we will retain. I'll fold anyone when it comes to you, because you are my best gain. Baby girl, I'll buy your love, just you wait and see. Come on, girl, you like the ballers? Well, you know I RMT.
He has such a way with words.
So I wrote those down and I thought to myself, I'm like, Q, these are a bit long. So I go back on the forums and I check that there is 100 character maximum. So I actually disqualified myself. And I think that's the stupidest thing ever. Intrepid, who puts a limit on love? Clearly you do. I don't know. I think there should be a recon or something, because it's obvious that you're holding back the real lovers. I mean, I don't know. Just the thought. Hey man, so go enter that giveaway if you want a chance to win an Alpha 2 key. But what are your thoughts on solo and group caravan gameplay? Please let your boy know in the comment section below. If you haven't created an Ashes of Creation account yet, feel free to use my link in the description. If you're looking for a Discord to come kick it in, come chill with us, man. If you want to stay up to date with me, feel free to follow me on X and Twitch, where I stream the live monthly updates. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.